So I just saw a movie that I would consider to be pretty underrated this year because I really, really enjoyed it, and it's called Power Ballad. This is a new film starring Paul Rudd and Nick Jonas that is not necessarily a musical. It has original songs in it all sprinkled throughout, but it's not a musical. It's a music-based film. The central premise of the film is that Paul Rudd is a songwriter who gave up his dreams of being like a rock star and being super successful and famous with his music in order to be more of a family man, settle down with a band to become a wedding singer so that he can still at least play music because that's what he enjoys doing. But it's kind of about him and through a series of circumstances at one wedding, Nick Jonas, who is a big gigantic pop star, ends up being there, and they have this little conversation where they talk about their music, and Paul Rudd plays some of his music to Nick Jonas, and Nick Jonas essentially, like, because his career is dwindling down, what he decides to do is steal one of his songs and publish it as one of his own, and Paul Rudd is not the happiest about this and demands credit for it, and nobody believes that he wrote the song. That's essentially what the film is about, and I really enjoyed watching this film. It's just an old-fashioned, sweet little drama that we just don't get a lot of these movies nowadays. Like, I always love it when we get these dramas, but that by the end of the film, everything comes full circle, and it just makes you smile. You can't help but smile at the end. Well, that's exactly what Power Ballad does, where it's a movie that it's about the ending, the final resolution to things is not fully what you expect it to be when you start it, and I would say that's a good thing. That's what these dramas do best, is that they encapsulate their message in a way where it's not the type of thing that resolves all the plot, but it is right for the character, and that's what I really enjoy about these dramas. It just makes you feel good at the end. It's basically tackling themes of how certain things are special due to your personal connection to them. In this case, not how popular the song actually ends up being, but your personal connection to the song that you wrote. And that is something that no matter how much popularity, no matter if somebody else steals it, like, it's something that they can't take away from you. And something about that's just really wholesome, something about that's very human, and it can lead to some very, like, heartwarming moments, especially in the last 20 minutes of the film. I thought it was very just a feel-good, old-fashioned film. It's definitely carried by Paul Rudd, who just ends up being very likable and charming, and that's pretty much applying to every single role that Paul Rudd has ever done. And he just, even though he makes certain decisions that are impulsive, he's in the moment, even when he's angry, he's making bad decisions, even when he's doing that, you're still rooting for the guy. There's something so human about the way Paul Rudd plays his characters, in a way that, like, he can play an ex-convict in Ant-Man who's not there for his daughter that much, and he could even be just a supportive friend in comedies like 40-Year-Old Virgin. Like he could do a lot of these roles, and there's something human to a lot of his roles, and that also applies here, where he's just effortlessly charming here, and he just makes you smile when you watch him. My criticism of the film a little bit is that there could have been a little bit more humanity to Nick Jonas's character. I just think Nick Jonas, his character doesn't really have as much of a character that Paul Rudd's character has, where there's certainly something there. I think there's something there that could have been there, because there are certain moments in there where you kind of do feel bad for him, but I wish it would have been explored more than it actually was, because the entire movie is kind of told from Paul Rudd's perspective, and so I wish there was a little bit more to his character, because he's played as more like kind of a villain in the film, rather than, I think there was something there that could have made him a little bit more human, and I think that would have been the better version of this character. But overall, that doesn't take away from the fact that I think this is a very well done drama. It doesn't take away from the fact that it makes you feel good at the end, and it's just a nice change of pace. We're in a world where everything has to be the biggest, the best, and everything. It has to be biggest spectacle, big gigantic movie stars and everything. And this is just a small scale drama that released in theaters, and so it's just a nice change of pace. And I always like it when we get these dramas that just make you feel good at the end, and so I really enjoy it. I'll give it a solid A because I think it's just such a feel-good film. But those are just my thoughts on the film. I just wanted to talk about it real quick here, to recommend it real quick, because I do find it underrated. Down below in the comment section, share what you thought of the film, or if you've seen it. Over on my channel, I have more content like this. Check those out right now. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end. I'll see you in the next one.